PF issues stern warning to MPs over Bill 7. Oasis Forum joins the fight. Good day, viewers. Welcome to another edition of InspirAfrica Official. I'm Nakash. Well, what a week it's been here in Lusaka. The political temperature is rising, the rains are finally here, and as always, our parliament continues to give us plenty to talk about. But today's story, this one hits different. Picture this, the hallowed halls of Parliament. A controversial bill sitting on the order paper. Constitutional Bill No. 7 of 2024. A piece of legislation so contentious it threatens to rewrite the very fabric of our democratic processes. And now, the opposition has drawn a line in the sand. But what happens when a political party issues what can only be described as a stern warning? Not to the government, but to its own members. What do you do when the whip comes down, when loyalty is tested, when MPs are told in no uncertain terms, vote with us or face the consequences? Is this democracy at work, or is this the iron fist of party politics crushing individual conscience? When does party discipline cross the line into intimidation? And what happens to the representative who believes their constituents want something different than what their party demands? But here's where it gets even more intriguing. The Patriotic Front isn't alone in this fight. Enter the Oasis Forum, a coalition of civil society organizations, religious bodies, and activists, now throwing their considerable weight behind the opposition to Bill 7. What do they know that has them so worried? What's really at stake here? Could this be the moment that defines Zambia's democratic trajectory for the next decade? Or are we watching political theater designed to distract us from something else entirely? Stay informed with the latest political developments in Zambia with InspirAfrica Official. Factual foundation, background and timeline. The revelation came to light this week when the Patriotic Front convened an emergency meeting of its parliamentary caucus at the party secretariat on Monday morning. Constitutional Bill No. 7 of 2024 has been on Parliament's agenda since late October. Sponsored by the ruling United Party for National Development, the bill seeks to amend key provisions of the Zambian constitution, specifically those dealing with the appointment process for key constitutional office holders, including the Electoral Commission of Zambia, the Human Rights Commission, and the Anti-Corruption Commission. The government argues these amendments will streamline appointments and reduce political gridlock. Critics, however, see something far more sinister. A consolidation of executive power that could undermine the independence of institutions meant to serve as checks and balances. The first public opposition came in early November, when PF Parliamentary Group leader Brian Mundable released a statement questioning the bill's constitutionality. By mid-November, opposition MPs from across the aisle, PF, Socialist Party, and independent members, had formed an informal coalition to block the legislation. But it was last Friday when things escalated dramatically. Several PF MPs, speaking anonymously to local media, revealed they were under immense pressure from both sides. Some claimed ruling party officials had approached them privately with offers, ministerial positions, constituency development funds, even business opportunities, in exchange for their votes. Then came Monday's caucus meeting. Behind closed doors, PF leadership reportedly laid down the law: vote against Bill 7, or face immediate suspension from the party and possible expulsion. The warning wasn't subtle. It wasn't a request. It was an ultimatum. By Tuesday morning, the Oasis Forum, which includes the Law Association of Zambia, the Zambia Council for Social Development, the Council of Churches, and the Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia, released a strongly worded statement declaring their opposition to the bill and their support for MPs who vote their conscience. Direct evidence. The strongest evidence of the internal pressure came from the PF's own leadership. Speaking to journalists outside the party secretariat on Monday afternoon, Brian Mundable didn't mince words. "We have made it abundantly clear to all our members of parliament," Mundable stated, his voice steady but firm. Bill 7 represents a fundamental threat to our constitutional order. Any member who chooses to support this legislation is, in effect, choosing to align themselves with an agenda that undermines the very democracy we fought to restore. And let me be clear, such a choice will have consequences. When pressed by reporters about what those consequences might be, Mundable continued, "The Patriotic Front is built on principles. We are a party of the people, for the people. We cannot and will not tolerate members who place personal gain above national interest. So yes, if a member of parliament elected on a PF ticket chooses to vote for Bill 7, they will face disciplinary action up to and including expulsion from the party. A journalist asked, "But Mr. Mundable, doesn't that contradict the principle of MPs representing their constituents' wishes?" Mundable's response was revealing. "Let me tell you something. Our constituents elected us because they trust our judgment. They trust the PF. When we tell them this bill is dangerous, they believe us. So representing your constituents means standing with the party that put you there. It's that simple. But not all PF MPs are towing the line publicly." One backbencher, speaking to us on condition of anonymity, painted a very different picture. "Look, I'm torn, you know? On one hand, I understand why the party is taking this position. Bill 7 does have some problematic elements. But on the other hand, my constituency desperately needs development. And if voting for this bill means we finally get that new clinic, that new school block we've been promised for 5 years. I mean, how do I explain to a mother whose child is sick that I voted based on principle when I could have voted for a hospital?" The MP continued, his voice dropping. "And it's not just the promises from the other side. It's the threats from our own side. They're saying, you vote for this, you're done. We'll primary you out. We'll make sure you never hold office again. So what do you do? What do you do when you're caught between your party, your conscience, and your community?" Meanwhile, the Oasis Forum didn't hold back either. Bishop Andrew Mwenda, speaking on behalf of the coalition, delivered what can only be described as a moral broadside. "We stand at a crossroads," Bishop Mwenda declared at a press conference Tuesday morning. Bill 7 is not simply another piece of legislation. It represents a systematic attempt to concentrate power in the hands of a few, to weaken the institutions that protect ordinary Zambians from abuse of authority. "We have studied this bill carefully. We have consulted constitutional experts. And our conclusion is unanimous. This bill must not pass." He went on, "To the members of parliament, we say this: history is watching. Your constituents are watching. And God is watching. You were not elected to be rubber stamps. You were elected to be representatives, to think, to deliberate, to make difficult decisions in the national interest. We urge you, regardless of party affiliation, to vote your conscience on this matter. And we promise you this: if you stand for what is right, civil society will stand with you." Deeper analysis. So what's really happening here? To understand that, we need to look beyond the immediate political theater. Constitutional experts warn that Bill 7 creates what drives Sishiwa Sishiwa, a political historian at the University of Zambia, calls a dangerous precedent of executive overreach. In an interview with us yesterday, Dr. Sishiwa explained, "The independence of constitutional bodies like the Electoral Commission isn't just a nice to have. It's fundamental to democratic governance. When you give the executive too much control over appointments, you're essentially allowing the ruling party to stack the referee positions in their favor." But ruling party MPs see it differently. Sylvia Calicosa, UPND MP for Kabwe Central, argues that the current system is too cumbersome. "We've seen appointments delayed for months, even years, because of political games in Parliament. This bill simply streamlines the process. The opposition is fear-mongering because they know they're losing public support." The PF's warning to its MPs also raises profound questions about the nature of representative democracy. Constitutional lawyer John Sangwa SC told us, "There's always been this tension between party loyalty and constituency representation. But threatening MPs with expulsion for voting their conscience? That's crossing a line. It turns MPs into mere delegates of party bosses rather than representatives of the people." Yet political analyst Laura Mitty offers a counterpoint. Let's be realistic. Every democracy operates on party discipline to some degree. If parties can't enforce positions on critical issues, you end up with chaos. The question isn't whether parties should have discipline, it's how much, and on what issues. The involvement of the Oasis Forum adds another dimension entirely. Historically, civil society coalitions in Zambia have played crucial roles in democratic transitions, from the movement for multi-party democracy in 1991 to the constitutional review process in 2016. When they speak, Political leaders typically listen. Father Alex Mayabi of the Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection, a key Oasis Forum member, told us, "We're not opposing this bill for political reasons. We're opposing it because it threatens the constitutional gains we've made as a nation. And we're not just opposing, we're offering to work with Parliament to find better solutions that protect institutional independence." But here's where it gets murky. Some analysts suggest the real battle isn't about Bill 7 at all, but about positioning ahead of the 2026 elections. By taking such a strong public stance, the PF may be trying to rebuild its credentials as a defender of democracy after years of accusations of authoritarianism during its time in power. And what of the individual MPs caught in the crossfire? Several have privately expressed frustration that this has become a binary choice when they believe there's room for compromise. Perhaps amendments to the bill that would address civil society's concerns while still achieving the government's stated objectives. One thing is certain, the vote on Bill 7, expected sometime in December, will be one of the most consequential parliamentary moments of this term. It will reveal fault lines, test loyalties, and potentially reshape Zambia's political landscape. Well, there you have it, viewers. The battle lines are drawn. The PF has issued its warning. The Oasis Forum has joined the fight. And somewhere in the middle are dozens of MPs trying to navigate between principle, party, and political survival. Thank you so much for watching another edition of InspirAfrica Official. This is exactly the kind of story that defines our democracy. Messy, complicated, and deeply important. I want to hear from you. Do you think parties should be able to discipline MPs who break ranks on critical votes? Or should MPs always be free to vote their conscience, even if it contradicts their party's position? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have that conversation, because these are the questions that matter. We'll be following this story closely as we approach the vote on Bill 7, and you can be sure we'll bring you every development right here on this channel. Until tomorrow, this is Nakash reminding you to stay informed, stay engaged, and stay inspired. Take care, and God bless Zambia.